Hi and welcome to Mountain Aromatics. I am Dave Johnson and owner and creator of Mountain Aromatics. I wanted to go over some more basics because obviously I'm hearing from you and it's what you're looking for. So I'm going to do that. My first question that I got, the first of actually many questions, and some of them kind of overlap, so I thought I'd just tackle them. So alcohol and using alcohol to make your perfume, to make your fragrances, to make your cologne, that kind of stuff. So there are some options out there that are some I don't consider options, and the very first one that I really do not consider an option is isopropyl alcohol. So in fact, you can find two different types, and I have both of them here. Why do I have both of them here? Because I wanted to show you, especially this one. This is 50% isopropyl alcohol and 50% water. So that's what it just says 50%. Well, the other 50% is water. So this just to me is just a no-go, and the aroma is so off. It's not acceptable at all. It will absolutely take over your fragrance, and you will smell this cleaning alcohol type of smell, and you don't want that for your fragrance. The next is at 91%. 91% alcohol, and then just the 9% of water. Well, the reason you don't want to use this, again, is that aroma that it has that is just, it's incredibly sharp. It is not made for making fragrances. It's not made, it's not its purpose. So let's just take this out of the picture, because I will never use it for anything except for educational purposes like I just did. So here we go. Why I would use this and what I use it for is for sterilizing. So when I have taken something like, let me just get something really quick. Okay, thank you for being patient. Okay, so let's say I have used this for mixing something. So I have a glass stirring rod and I mix something with it. I'm going to wash this with like a Dawn dishwashing soap, anything that will take, that's a surfactant, and take the oil and pull it away and clean it really well, and then rinse it off. And then once you're done, it's clean, but you can go the next step to sterilizing. And so adding a little bit of this, swishing it around, and obviously it's gonna evaporate pretty quick. Well, then you have it sterilized. That is what I use this for. But I don't suggest it. It's just not made. I'm just gonna tell you, never use this for your fragrances. Just don't. Buy it at 91% and use it for sterilization. A lot of people will take and use Everclear for their carrier, and I'm going to go into carriers in just a second because that was the other question that a number of people had. So I'll go into that in just a minute when I'm finished with this part. So the Everclear is a grain alcohol. Obviously it is 95% alcohol by volume, and the other 5% is going to be water. So the reason I don't use it is because there's really a strong odor. It has a strong odor that's going to come through in your fragrance. And when I first started, of course, this is what I read. Oh, just buy some Everclear. Well, it actually turns out, and this is important, that your perfumer's alcohol, I have found, is cheaper, higher quality, cheaper than buying your Everclear. Ugh, it just, that's what I found. So with this, what do I use it for? Same thing, sterilization. So I have some left, so I use it to sterilize after I clean. So that's the only thing that I use this for. It is just an inferior, it will create an inferior product, final product for you, when all you would have to do is use a perfumer's alcohol, which is a higher percentage alcohol, and it has like, I barely smell anything. This is not going to affect your final product, meaning change the aroma of your final product. And that is why you want perfumer's alcohol. It's a higher quality, and you're going to end up with a higher quality product. You don't want your alcohol to smell like alcohol. You don't want an alcoholic-y aroma. So, and to me, I don't know, I find it's a little bit cheaper. So why would I use Everclear? I just can't find a reason why I would do that. So the other thing you can do is you can use a little bit of this, the same thing, as a sterilizer. So you've cleaned this, put a little bit in there and sterilize. You can use this as well, but I don't, because you can get the isopropyl alcohol at, like 91%, and use this, because this is really cheap. I got this, I think, for $2. So hello, I don't want to, quote, waste this stuff, my perfumer's alcohol. I would rather use this cheap stuff that will absolutely do a beautiful job of sterilizing, when it's $2 for all of this. Much smarter, and does the job just as well. So we are left with perfumer's alcohol. Now there are different manufacturers of perfumer's alcohol. So you can buy perfumer's alcohol from 2-3 different places, and they're going to be slightly different. And I've had some, and my favorite is creatingperfume.com. Theirs, it just has almost no aroma present. It's my favorite, and it's where I get all my materials anyway, so it's just simpler to do it there. And then off of Amazon, I don't trust too many of the things off of Amazon. I don't know the companies. So anyway, I hope this was helpful with the perfumer's alcohol. I'm going to go straight into actually the very next thing, which is carriers. I know I said on the very last video was basics, so I know I said that I probably verbally said that there's only one kind of carrier, and that's an oil. That's not what I meant, because I know there's many carriers I'm about to show you. But so there can be many types of carriers. So I'm going to show you the carriers, and then I'm going to tell you their functions. So carriers is anything that you're going to put your oil, your fragrance in. Let me give you an example. So let's say we have a vial of, I have this, it's called Rays of Sunshine. It is pure it's a pure blend of a formula of mine. So just the pure materials, let's say hediones, and here's one thing. It's just a pure blend of this. So nothing has been blended with this. So we'll take this and we can add, our carrier can be fractionated coconut oil. So to make like a roll-on, this is going to be your carrier. It's going to carry the fragrance, and it's going to be the bulk of your product. Another carrier, okay, here's a candle. So wax. So the wax in here is the carrier of the fragrance that's in here. Okay. Shea butter. Shea butter can be your carrier. If you wanted to blend these two and make just a really thick shea butter hand cream, you just add a couple of drops to some of this. Your carrier is your shea butter. IPM. If you are going to make a fragrance, your IPM can be your carrier to your oil. So it can be all types of things. Jojoba oil can be your carrier if you're wanting to make a different type of roll-on. Let's say you want to make a lip roll-on, and you just want to use shea butter and a couple of drops of your fragrance, of your formula, of your oils. This is going to be your carrier. Let me see if I did anything else to kind of show you with the carrier. So hopefully that shows you and tells you what carriers are. The other carrier is your perfumer's alcohol. That's a carrier. So your carrier is anything you want it to be depending on the product that you're making. You know, if you're making a candle, you need wax. So the wax is going to be your carrier of your fragrance. So that is actually, they were asking, what is the function? Well, that's the function of the carrier is to hold your fragrance, to be able to distribute your fragrance so it is not at full strength. So there won't be issues with, eventually you can become allergic to, let's say there's just pure essential oils. If you used it neat or by itself, typically it takes time, but over time you can become allergic. You can develop an allergic or become allergic to the essential oil. Let's say you use lavender neat by itself on your hand constantly, but over time it could become where you use it and you break out and you no longer can use lavender. Well, that's a shame. So you want to use a carrier like jojoba oil and put like 10 drops of your lavender in 1 ounce of your carrier of choice, coconut oil, jojoba oil, and that will prevent it from you developing an allergy or breaking out from that. So, and also if you putting an essential oil on you neat or by itself, it's actually a drying agent. It will actually dry your skin. So if you did like let's say 10 drops on this finger and on this finger, just 10 drops on this finger of just pure essential oil of lavender, and on here you used a carrier like we just talked about with it and put it on there. 15 minutes later, you're going to see this is dried out and like you'll see white because it's so dried. and this is going to be still shiny and moisturized, because this is it will act as a drying agent, and that's why it's not good for you. And it will dissipate so fast, you're not even going to get all the properties that you're wanting and all the benefits that you're wanting from your essential oil. So that's why it's good to, I think I'm going on a tangent, but that's why it's good to use a carrier for essential oils. So that's its function, is to carry the aroma. It'll also, the function is to help it last longer. Its function is to help it penetrate into the skin. And some do it better than others. For example, the fractionated coconut oil or the IPM will help it get deeper into the skin than just Perfumer's alcohol. So there's different things to weigh when you're trying to figure out what you want to use, but that's the function of it. How much do you use? Well, that's a little bit of a loaded question, because it depends on what you're making. Because if you're making a roll-on, typically you're going to use either fractionated coconut oil or IPM or your jojoba oil for your roll-ons, and that's going to be, it depends on how strong you want it. So it's going to be between, you can put 1 drop in your 10 mil roll-on, or you can go up to 20 drops, and that's your basics. So that's a roll-on. Then for a fragrance, either it's going to be, you're going to either use your carrier of an IPM or Perfumer's alcohol. Some people use both in their fragrance to make their perfume, and then you just go by the whole, how much of this of my aroma do I put in there? You know, are you making an eau de toilette? Are you making a cologne, an eau de parfum, a parfum? And those are different levels. So that's how you know how much of this to mix with your carrier. So it's kind of a loaded question. I can't give you, oh, you need 10 drops. It doesn't work like that. It depends on what you're making. So that is carriers. So the next question was, in the last video I said breaking down the crystals and the powders. Well, what I mean by that is, if from like creating perfume you buy like ethyl maltol, you can buy it in this crystal or powdered form. This is a powdered form. So obviously this is not a liquid, so we want to make this a liquid. So here is mine that I created a liquid. So that's what I mean using your tech, the triethyl citrate natural. You break this down with this, and I did this at 10%, so I get 10% of this, 90% of this, or using your Perfumer's alcohol or IPM, or your, have one other thing. Let me get it really quick. AgioClean Multi. So these are what you use to break down your powders. There are some powders that are more difficult than others to break down. With those ones that are really difficult to break down, let's just say maltol natural, very difficult, you're either going to need to use the Agio Multi Clean or the Tech. These two are the ones that kick butt with breaking down the difficult powders and, well, this is my little one. Breaking down the powders or the crystals. These two. Way more, it just is not going to happen with IPM or the perfumer's alcohol. So I suggest these. So I hope that was helpful, and I appreciate you joining me. Pardon my pup. Thank you for being here with Mountain Aromatics. I'm Dave Johnson. I will see you on the next one. Give me a thumbs up if you like this, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I will see you on the next Mountain Aromatics.